And bringing it up a notch, we have the 2018 On Attend Les Invités, which
Les
is
Invités.
yeah, which is interesting name for an Italian wine. This is a very limited release that Buyers and Cellars have, and this is that other wondrous sparkling wine grape Pinot Noir.
Yeah. So just few words about the names. It's a story and a half, this, because that's my mother that she still made the labels and the names of the wines, and she still thought that it was important to have strange names
Right.
because we were not in an important wine region, and so we had
Yeah.
something to be to someone has to remember. Sorry, I can't
Yes.
find the
Yeah. Yeah.
word.
That's okay.
Someone has to remember us for something, and the word it was the name of the wine. It was important. So, and this is 2018. Totally a different idea compared to the Principessa. 2018 picture of the vintage. Everything that is peculiar and particular in that vintage, we put it in the bottle. We choose every grape for doing this. Few amount of bottles. We are talking about, I don't know, 3,000 bottles per year. A small amount of bottles, and just for trying to find the real soul of that vintage, to try to give you the expression of that vintage. It's a rosé wine. It is made with Pinot Noir, but the color, I still repeat, it is not important. One year it could be more pink, the other year it could be more white. I'm trying to give you the idea of what's happening in that vintage in my area. And so the bottle that it is totally the opposite compared to the topic that we were talking before. The bottles, they are we are not looking for an average of quality from one year to the other. We are looking for something that every year needs to surprise you and to telling you something new, to try to express what's happening that in that year, and that is the character of this wine. So 100% Pinot Noir, stainless steel made, no wood on my sparkling wine, stainless steel made, and it's 4 years in the bottle. 2018, I bottled it in 2019, and then there is the dégorgement in 2022, and after 6 months after the dégorgement, I start selling on the market.
Well, in keeping with your French names of the bottles, you do call this Pinot Noir as opposed to Pinot Nero.
Pinot Nero, sì. It is the name, the Italian name of the variety, Pinot Nero. I use Pinot Nero either for a sparkling wine, and I have a really small amount of bottles in still red wine too. But talking about 1,000 bottles per year, but it's still a challenge, the Pinot Noir. If you are a winemaker, your challenge is to try to see if you are able to do in Pinot Noir or not.
Oh yes, I'm sure. I'm sure. Which brings us to your Malvasia di Candia. Tell us a little bit about that. It's the 2016 that's on release right now.
Yes.
It's an interesting wine for sure. I was reading through all the notes on this, and I gravitate towards these kind of sweet, savory wines now. I think in my in the last 5 years or something, I've been kind of fascinated by that sweet, savory wine. So tell us a little bit about this wine.
So, first, the Malvasia Aromatica di Candia, on my opinion, it is the best thing that you can find in Colli Piacentini area. It's a gem. It's not a gem. It's something really unique that we have just in that area. You know, in Italy, we have several Malvasia. We talk about 18 different varieties of Malvasia. The Malvasia Aromatica di Candia, it's the only Malvasia Aromatica that we have in Italy, and we can use it just in our region. You know, there's a lot of rules in Italy, and talking about the wine, you can't make a vineyard where you want and with the grapes that you want to use. If you are in Piacenza, you can use Malvasia Aromatica di Candia, but only if you are in Piacenza, just if you are in Piacenza. And I used this grape for two different wines: a still dry white wine, Bocca di Rosa, with a little maceration on the skin, and a sweet white wine, that it is that one, Lirane, 2016. In talking about the vinification and the process, in this case, we have an harvest when the grapes, they are not totally ripe. They are ripe, but not overripe, because I want to keep the acidity.
Yes, yeah.
And then we harvest it and we live in the winery, drying in plastic cases for 30, 40, 50 days after, it depends on the climate that we have after the vintage. And with that operation, we have a concentration of, uh, uh, we lose water, and so we have a concentration of all the rest that we have in the berry. In this case, mainly acidity and sugar. Then we press it, and we obtain a sweet, and we have a fermentation, and we obtain a sweet wine. But my idea is still to have a wine that's in the range of 13 degrees of alcohol, 130 grams sugar with a good acidity. I'm not trying to make a really sweet wine for dessert or for sweet things. I'm trying to make a middle way between a dry wine and a sweet
Yes.
wine that you can eat it with, you can drink it with cheese, with salty plates too, or with something sweet but not too sweet. And mainly a bottle of wine that doesn't have a high level of alcohol, and so you can drink even a glass more if you want. It's like an average of alcohol of a normal wine, but with a residual sugar of 130 grams per liter.
No, it's wines like this that absolutely fascinate me right now. So I'll be looking for a bottle of this at some point to taste. It has all of the trademarks of the kind of wine that I like with my cheese. So I have to try this very soon. So
No, you have to.
so
Absolutely.
in closing, would you mind describing the overall philosophy of your winery?
This is
Always a
you
tricky
know,
question.
you know that's a family business. As you know, in the family there is still everyone loves each other, but everyone gets
Oh yeah,
its
yeah.
own thought. And so there's different again, there's different soul. But the idea is to try to make an interpretation of a soil, of a place, of an area, of a terroir. Exactly the French word. It is the perfect meaning of this complex of soil and people and climate and wind and rain and everything. And to make an interpretation, because you need to imagine that we don't have an example to follow in our area. We thought that it was a fantastic area with a fantastic soil, everything was nice, but usually people, they use vineyards and grapes for making light, sparkling wines and something not far, easy wines, not complex. But we thought, my father thought, first of all, that it was possible to have a challenge and to struggle for making good wines in that area too. And then during the 2000 years from the start, me and other wineries, we have the proof that it was
Yes.
possible to do in that way. On then, if this is the starting point, then if we want to talk about a little bit about the philosophy that you had in the bottle, I follow the balance, a clean wine, a well done wine. I'm not here for surprising people. I don't want to have a wild wine or something strange or something mainly different because I want to make it different. I'm first on integrity, elegance, balance. I want to have something that is really well dressed glass of wine. I still say that our wines, when we start selling on the market, first they need to comb their hair. They need to be well with a good presentation, with a
Well
good
groomed.
dress, because
Yes.
That is my idea of wine. Then, for sure, I have more rustic and a little rough wine when I work with traditional grapes of the area, because that's their behavior. And so I'm not here for changing the behavior of the grape or
Right.
of the wine. And when I work with Cabernet Sauvignon, I will have a more soft and round and powerful wine. That's normal. You can, everyone can understand this. But the first thing is that I don't want to give a to surprise anyone because I'm strange, and that's not my idea. I try to surprise with a good presentation, with an elegance and the balance. The secret of everything is balance. So you were talking about sweet wine, balance between sweetness and acidity, and that at the end what is pleasant and allows you to tell you that you can have a good red wine, a good sweet wine, a good sparkling. They are so different one to the other, but if they are well balanced, so you can say that every one of those, they are good. And this is about my little philosophy.
Well, that's one of the best answers I've had to that question in all my time throughout these interviews over almost 13 years. So thank you very much for joining us at Good Food Revolution today. We really appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your trip around Ontario, and
Thank you
perhaps
so
we'll
much.
have a chance to share a glass of wine at some point in the future.
We will, for sure, Jamie. Thank you so much, and thanks everybody.
Thank you, Lucio. Bye for now.
Bye. Ciao.